So if you've just bought yourself a Samsung Galaxy S21 FE in 2022, here are the first 22 things you should do, and these tips and tricks also apply to any device that have One UI 4.0. So if you're rocking a Samsung Galaxy S22 or any of the older Samsung Galaxies with the latest UI, these tips should be available to you. Anyway, let's go. Tip number 1, you have an important decision to make. See the power key on the side of your phone. Do you want that to be a power key, or do you want that to wake Bixby? Well, Samsung think that you want this to wake Bixby. I think otherwise. And if you're like me and you think that should be a power key, here's how you change it. Go to your settings. Here you want to scroll down to advanced features. Here you will see side key. Click that, and now you can actually choose what the side key does. And you can even map a double push for what the side key does as well. But right now all we're going to do is switch the power key from wake Bixby to power menu. Job done. So here's tip number 2. You probably set up an unlock method already, but I do recommend you do this one. Go to settings, go to biometrics and security. Here you can actually set up more fingerprints and face unlock. I have both of these on, so if I can't get my face in front of the camera, or if I'm wearing a mask or something like that, then maybe the face recognition won't work. As standard, you probably got one fingerprint set up, but I do recommend you set up more. All you do is unlock your phone, go to add fingerprint, and here you can scan some more of your digits. I do recommend you scan your thumb on both hands and your first finger on both hands. Tip number 3, here's one of the things I love about Android devices. When you swipe up, you can access all of the apps on your device in what's known as the app drawer. The problem with the Samsung devices is, for some reason, when you open the app drawer, it's kind of just a mess. There's apps everywhere. There's no particular order to them. I don't know if this is the order they were installed in or what. But what I recommend you do is alphabetize this so that it's easier to find what you're looking for. Of course, you could search at any time, but why key in something if you know it begins with X? So here's how you alphabetize your app drawer. Hit the 3 dots in the top right corner, go to sort, and go to alphabetical order. Now everything in your app drawer is in alphabetical order, and now it's much easier to find stuff. So tip number 4, when you swipe down from the top on a Samsung device, you get what's known as the quick panel. It is important that you customize this for your personal usage. You'll notice there's 6 icons at the top. If we swipe down again, there's more. Those first 6 icons are very important, and you should really have the settings you use the most as your first 6. So this is how you customize your quick panel. So starting from the beginning, all you do is swipe down once, swipe down twice, and then you get these 3 dots up here in the top right corner. If you hit that, now you can edit the buttons inside the quick panel. So if we hit edit buttons, these ones down here already exist. These are our first 6. We can move these around however we want just by holding down and dragging stuff around. So let's say, for example, you use location services a lot. You want to switch that off sometimes, or the torch. You can drag these in order as to what you use the most. The other thing you can do here at the top is you have more buttons which aren't actually in the quick panel at the moment. Let's say NFC. We can drag that down here into the quick panel, and now that will be there when we swipe down from the top. So take some time, customize your quick panel so that you have the most used apps as your first 6, and then the other ones however you want. So while we're talking about the quick panel, here's a little tweak that I like to do. When I swipe down the first time, you see there's no brightness controls here. When I swipe down the second time, the brightness controls are there. You can actually have these pinned to the top. So in order to do that, just hit the 3 dots, go to quick panel layout, and here where it says brightness control, click that and set it to always show. Now when we swipe down once, the brightness controls are there all the time. This can be handy if you're sort of reading in the dark, or it's really bright outside and you need to brighten the screen up or something like that on the fly. Go to settings, go to lock screen. Here you want to go to always on display, tap on that. Now what you can do here is a bunch of things, but what I want to show you guys is the clock style. So you can choose different clock styles for your lock screen. So when your phone is locked, you can still see the time, but there's some other cool things you can do here. Like you can set an image clock. You can actually use photos, which will stay pinned to your lock screen. You can use photos from your gallery or stickers if you want as well. And one setting I like to turn on is show music information, because if I'm playing music while my phone's locked and suddenly a song comes on that I really like, I can just glance at the lock screen and it will show me what song's playing. So that's a cool little feature here. Make sure you customize your always on display. Tip number 7. Now, some people will argue this, but most people believe that dark mode is better for your eyes. One thing is for certain, the beautiful Super AMOLED display that's on this Galaxy S21 FE uses less power when it doesn't need to display anything. So for that reason, I do recommend you turn on dark mode. It's super easy to do. All you need to do is go to your settings here, go to display, and at the top you have light mode. It's using lots of power to brighten up the whole screen, and you have dark mode where it's only using power to light up parts of the screen that aren't black. So I do recommend you use dark mode. It saves power, and I personally think it makes everything look a bit better too. Tip number 8. So all you need to do here is go to settings, again go to display, scroll down to eye comfort. So back in the caveman days when the sun came up, we would wake up, and when it got dark, we'd go to sleep. Nowadays, a lot of us go to sleep with smartphones right next to our faces until the moment we close our eyes, and we don't realize how much this affects your sleeping. So this is why I recommend you use Eye Comfort Shield. What you can do here is leave it on adaptive. The only problem with this, especially if you're into sort of creative kind of things, or you like using Instagram a lot, where you want your colors to be really accurate, you don't really want to be using adaptive because it will adjust as the day progresses. What I like to do is set it to custom and choose a specific time when the eye comfort mode will kick in. Because let's say I'm trying to add filters to an Instagram photo, and it might look one way on my phone, but all the rest of you guys, when you see it on Instagram, it might look different because I graded it while it had an orange hue over it. So to avoid that, use the custom mode. If you don't care about that at all, use the adaptive mode. So one of the things that I really love about Android devices is the ability to split apps and have a split screen setup going. So this is how you do it. It's really easy. Let's say you want to open YouTube and Maps at the same time. I do this sometimes when I'm driving because I want to listen to a podcast whilst having the navigation running. And if you don't have YouTube Premium, you can't listen to stuff in the background. Here's how you can split screen. So swipe halfway up and hold from the bottom here. Then you tap on the icon of the app you want to split, open in split view. Now you can choose what you want the bottom half of the page to be. I'm going to choose Maps. There we go. Now we've got our split view. That's how you do split view on a Samsung Galaxy device. So check this out. If you find yourself using split apps more frequently and you want to kind of set it up so that you can recall that split app setup, instead of having to set it up from scratch every time like I just showed you, you can do that here as well. So let's do the split app setup again. We'll go to here. We've got our 2 apps set up. Now see the 3 dots right in the middle there. If we tap that, that brings up a little menu. And see this little square with a plus on it? If we hit that, that adds it to the sidebar. Now, whenever we swipe in from the side, we can recall the split app setup that we just set up. So my recommendation to you guys is figure out what split applications you like to have set up and then add them to the sidebar for quick access. So there are 4 volume levels on any smartphone that you need to be aware of, and you can see them when you tap the volume rocker and hit the 3 dots here. So we have system sounds, we have notification sounds, our ringtone sounds, and we have our media sounds. You want to configure these to best suit you. So one way to access them is using the volume rocker like this and hitting the 3 dots. And another way to do it is to go into settings and go to sound and vibrations. Here you have access to all of the controls for the sound on your device. And if you're the type of person who misses phone calls because sometimes you don't hear the phone ringing, I would suggest you turn on this as well. Vibrate while ringing. That way, if you don't hear it, you still might feel it in your pocket. So you know one thing about smartphones, when out of power, they become pretty stupid. So you've got to preserve the power as best as you can. And here's how you can do it on your Galaxy device. Go to settings. Go to battery and device care. So on this page at any time you can optimize now. This will strip all of the background usage and processing so that you can optimize the battery performance. But what you can also do is automate this. So if you hit the 3 dots and go to automation, here you can select auto optimize daily, and this will daily go through and optimize what's running in the background. The other thing you can do here is optimize manually and set a specific time when you want this to happen. And then if you want to, you can turn on adaptive power saving. So this will do everything on the fly for you based on your usage patterns. So that's pretty clever there. But let's say you have an app that you never want to shut down in the background and you want full power to be going to it 24/7. Let's say it's for work or something like that. For example, let's say the maps. What we can do, we can actually stop it from being optimized by holding down your finger on the app, hitting the little eye in the top corner here. And then if we scroll down to where it says battery, we can go here and we can set it to be unrestricted. So this app will have full power all of the time. But then let's say we've got a really annoying app that keeps sending notifications and opening up in the background, is really bothering you, but you don't want to delete it. You can actually restrict apps as well in the background from using power. So here's one for those of you who like to do a bit of reading on your Galaxy devices. All you need to do is go to your settings, go to accessibility. Here, go to visibility enhancements, and there's a bunch of stuff you can do here, like increasing text size, adjusting the contrast, high contrast fonts. You can adjust the keyboards, you can highlight stuff as well. There's a bunch of cool things you can do here. If you're maybe slightly visually impaired or you need glasses but don't wear them all the time, definitely have a look at the visibility enhancement settings. There's some good stuff going on here. Okay, so if your previous device was not a Samsung device, I recommend you do this one, because if you've been using a Google Android device, all of your autofill information, for example, your emails and passwords, are linked to your Gmail account. Now, with a Samsung device, they have their own version of autofill software called Samsung Pass, which essentially does the same thing. But if you've never used it before, it doesn't have any of your information yet. And if you want, you could start from scratch and use Samsung Pass. But if you ain't got time for that, then you should definitely do this. So go to your settings, go to general management, go to passwords and autofill. Here you see autofill with Samsung Pass. This is the default, but you can manually switch it back to Google. All you need to do is tap on not the cog, but the actual words, and switch it to Google. Now all of your autofill information from your previous Google phones will now pop up on your browser here whenever you log into websites and stuff. But I'm not writing off Samsung Pass. I actually like Samsung Pass, and if you feel like using it, go ahead, use it. But do keep in mind, you'll have to put in all your details the first time at least to get it all set up. All right, now let's talk about camera. And if you guys want to see how the Galaxy S21 FE compares to the iPhone 13 Pro Max, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, because that video is coming soon. Okay, let's open the camera app. And if you swipe all the way to the right here and hit the little plus button here, what you can actually do is bring down modes from this menu and pin them onto that bar at the bottom. A lot of people don't realize that you can actually do this, and you can even shuffle the order in which these modes pop up. So what you can do here is customize your camera modes at the bottom of the camera app. So whenever you open the camera app, you have access to all of these modes that you've chosen. And let's say, for example, you never use single take, you could remove that if you wanted to as well, but it is quite good fun. So here's something else I recommend you do within the camera app. So see the little cog at the top? If you hit that, down here you see grid lines. Now grid lines will add lines to your camera app. Now that you've enabled this, next time you're taking a photo, pay close attention to where the lines intersect, because according to the rule of thirds in photography, it suggests that where these lines cross are where the human eye is naturally drawn to. So if you're taking a picture of a person, maybe try and get their eyes where these lines cross and see how the photo turns out. But generally speaking, the grid lines really do help compose a better picture. So definitely switch those on. You'll find it useful. Here's another camera tip. So if you go into the camera app and hit the cog top left corner again, as standard, the shooting mode for the Galaxy phones is JPEG. And JPEG is not bad, it's pretty good, but this phone is capable of better. So to get more out of the phone, all you need to do is go to picture formats here and select either high efficiency pictures or RAW copies. Long story short, HEIF is the same format that Apple uses on their phones, and RAW is the most uncompressed version of a photo. And once you take a photo in one of these formats and put it into an imaging software, for example, Instagram, you'll have way more image data to play with. Therefore, the filters and the colors and everything will just look better if you use these modes. Keep in mind though, they do take up more storage than a JPEG. Okay, here's another camera tip. We go back to the cog at the top left corner. Now, I love this one. I use it all the time. If you go to shooting methods here, you can actually use your palm to trigger the camera to take a photo. So if you're taking selfies, all you need to do is show your palm to the camera and it begins the photo taking process. It will give you a few seconds to get your blue steel pose going, and there you go. I definitely recommend you use this. There's also other features like voice commands as well. There is the option to have a floating shutter button as well, and you can even use the volume key here to take pictures and record and stuff as well. Okay, I just want to say thank you for making it this far. Check this one out. So did you know that Samsung have their own magic eraser like the Google phone, but it's called Object Eraser, and it's really cool and it works really well. So let's say you've got a picture like this and the pen in the picture is really bothering you. It shouldn't really be there. You can actually get rid of it really easily. All you need to do is hit the pen here. This opens the image editing software on the phone. Now that you're in the imaging editor, all you need to do is hit the three dots again and you have the option for Object Eraser. Tap that, and now all we need to do is draw around the pen like so, and we can erase it from existence. Ta-da! It's gone. What a great little feature this is. A lot of people don't know it's there because it's kind of hidden away within the settings. But let's say someone photobombed a picture and it was really nice, but they ruined it. You can actually remove them after the fact. All right, here's the final tip. Let's say you're walking home, it's dark, and there's something strange going on in your neighborhood. And there's something weird and it don't look good. Who are you going to call? Well, this trick allows you to set up a way to send an emergency SOS message to someone just by pushing the power key 3 or 4 times. Here's how you set it up. Go to Settings. Go to Safety and Emergency. Here, go to Send SOS Message. Now you can choose 3 or 4 times. If you're concerned about triggering this by accident, set it to 4 times. And then what this will do is you can set up an emergency contact who will receive a bunch of information about what just happened. So in the event of using it, it will automatically enable GPS and Wi-Fi for location tracking. It will take photos on the cameras and it will then automatically call someone as well. This really is a last resort, but it's one of those things that is better to have set up and not need it than to have not set it up and then needed it, in my opinion. And on that note, if you guys got any value out of these tips at all, a thumbs up would make my day and a subscribe would make my month. There's a bunch more Samsung content in the pipeline, so make sure if you are subscribed, you've got your notifications switched on. I appreciate you guys for watching this one. You are truly legends, and I will see you guys in the next one, so don't be late.